Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are reviewing Shazam! Fury of the Gods. This is another superhero movie that has gotten a lot of flack. Let's get down as to why it may be. So, as usual, we're going to start off with the story here. The story is very much passable. It is messy, it is a little inconsistent in terms of the plot, and there are a few plot points that could have easily been cut out. There is one moment that just felt completely out of the blue, meant for an emotional kick, but it was completely underdeveloped and felt totally random in the sequence. But then, like, the plot points that worked really well. It's just the fact that some of the ones that didn't work at all, which is very, like, sad and disheartening. I just finished watching the first one before I came in to say this, to compare them a little bit, to see if it was a little bit in that inconsistency side of the first one. But the story wasn't super inconsistent, but the tone of the first one was super inconsistent. I can say without a doubt that the tone of the second one is way more consistent. But in terms of a story, this has got to be a little bit of a hot pocket score. Like, you're gonna enjoy it, but you gotta be in the mood for it. Cinematics. This one has definitely got much better cinematics than the first one, but it, I think, also has a much bigger budget than the first one, unfortunately, because I don't think this one's gonna make the budget back, so we're not getting Shazam 3, which I'm gonna talk about a little bit more later, because I just thought of something after watching both of them. Cinematics. The fights are really cool. The effects, what they do with the fights, cool. It's very interesting to watch. It is also very funny. And so with that, hand grenade score easily, and Shazam could easily blow it up. Directing. Directing is pretty solid in the second one. I enjoyed it. Although unfortunately it did feel a little weird. It was a minute shorter, but some sections ran a little too long. I think they could have made this movie a little bit shorter and it would have been just fine. Like, they could have easily cut out some of the weird plot points that only get mentioned twice, so that way it's a plot line. It just felt so out of nowhere. It was undeveloped. There was no height. It was just a straight line. Like, nothing happened, but all of a sudden something happened, and I must have missed it. Maybe a director's cut. I don't know. I don't think we're getting much else from this film, unfortunately. But directing, let's give it a hot pocket. That's a hot pocket score. Acting, Zachary Levi does as exceptional as always. Everyone actually does a really good job in this film. This one was really more of Freddy's time to shine, and I actually really enjoyed that. It was nice to focus on a different family member, and I have a feeling that if they were able to keep making Shazam movies for a while and keep them profitable, every single one would have been a little more focused on a different family member. I also realize now that there is a scene in the second one where they all just go, "I know," and it's teased actually in the first Shazam movie, so that's actually kind of interesting. But acting, hand grenade score, easy. Now let's get into expectations and experience. It was a fun ride. It's worth the watch. Unfortunately, I don't think many of you are going to go see this in a movie theater, but if it's available on streaming, I will highly recommend you watch this. My one issue with this is that, and this is an issue with marketing nowadays, and that is the need to show all the good surprises in the film, all the cool shit in the goddamn trailers, and thus ruining the experience, because now you're like, oh, this is a really cool moment, but you already saw it in the trailer. Like, I was just scrolling through Instagram a little bit ago, and I saw a trailer for Shazam 2 on Instagram, and it just showed one of the coolest surprises of the whole movie in the goddamn Instagram trailer. That was like 3 seconds. I'm like, there's so much fun you can do in those 3 seconds, and they show the coolest fucking surprise. I was so furious at that. Like, it is such a cool surprise, and when we get into like a bit of a spoiler talk, there's not much to spoil due to the fact that the trailers spoiled it all. Because god damn it, these fucking filmmakers can't edit a trailer anymore. Like, they ruin the goddamn movie. Like, let's see, I think the Endgame trailer That was a really good trailer. It only showed stuff in the first 2 acts, and then like one random scene that could have easily been like interpreted in the first 2 acts until you watch the movie. All of these other ones clearly show the big third act spectacle. Every single one of them. The Ant-Man Quantumania did it. The Creed 3 one shows it in the goddamn poster. God, so infuriating how the marketing is going on nowadays. Like, big climactic moments from the third act, which is supposed to impact you and make you feel super badass, and supporting the characters on their journey of redemption, of conquest, of all of that, and they show it in the goddamn trailers and marketing. It is so infuriating to see. But in terms of what I was expecting an equally fun time as the first one, and that's exactly what I got. It's a little less charming, but it's funnier, so I think that more than balances it out. People are giving this flack a lot because it's not as consistent, and I'm like, yeah, but it's like, if you overlook the flaws of the first one, and you can easily overlook the flaws of the second one, they are like almost identical in terms of structure. The only difference is I actually like the villains in the second one a little more than I did of the first one. They made more sense to be a threat, and their powers just made more sense consistently due to the fact that this one was more, I don't know, diverse in its power selection and what the heroes were doing. I also think this one handled the Shazam family much better than the first one. The first one was just kind of shoehorned in. This one actually did a good job of building them out and explaining what they all do and how their personalities translate into their superhero forms. But in terms of expectation, I'm going to give it an easy hand grenade score. Much like the first Shazam movie, this is very rewatchable. But I do think this one is a tad bit better, and I'm going to list the reason why. And that is just because it's funnier, it's a much more fun time to watch, and the jokes in the second one land a little more often than the jokes in the first one, although they both are very funny movies. But now, here's a quick little spoiler corner. I'm not even going to give you a time frame because I don't even think this is a spoiler, but I guess I'll warn you anyway. I'm going to say probably skip 30 seconds if you don't want to see the spoiler. So, I'm in rewatching the first one right now. I noticed that both of these have one superhero that they idolize throughout the whole story, and that kind of determines the villain and how the villain reacts in the story. In this one, in the first Shazam movie, the main hero of focus was Superman. About how, oh, you're like Superman, you can do everything that Superman can do, except you got slightly more abilities. And the main villain of the first Shazam movie is a clone that is slightly more skilled with the abilities that are very similar to our heroes, much like General Zod to Superman, in comparison to the Man of Steel movie and Superman 2 from back in the day. So the first movie idolizes Superman and has a cameo from Superman. Very cool, right? The second one seems to lean a little more towards Wonder Woman, and how there is more of the mythology behind Shazam. And this one pisses me off that I only found this out, and I'm a decently sized Shazam fan. I'm a big fan of the character, and I'm very upset that I only realized this during the second movie, and that is that Shazam is an acronym, and I am so pissed off I didn't realize that it was an acronym. God, it infuriates me. But all of these characters are from the Greek and Roman mythologies, which is where Wonder Woman comes from. And so the focus of the second one is more on Wonder Woman and that mythical side of the character, while the other one was more science, this one was a little more mythical. This leads me to believe that if they were able to make a third Shazam movie, it would lean a little more towards the villain side, because it'll be more focused on the Batman. Every single one of these Shazam movies has a idol hero, and then that hero ends up making a cameo. There's the spoiler for Shazam 2, but if you were on Instagram and you actually watched one of the goddamn ads, you would have noticed that Wonder Woman is fucking shown in the goddamn ad. God damn it, that pisses me off because it was such a cool moment in the film, and they just show it in the trailer. God, I'm gonna have a rant video on why trailers are bad. Actually, you know what? If you watch till this point of the video and you comment down below saying, make the trailers are bad rant video, and I will make a whole video talking about why, if you want the best movie going experience, you should not watch a single trailer. But yeah, this movie, much like many others I presume, are probably ruined and by their trailers. Every person creates their own expectations from the trailers, and what they see in the trailers is what they expect more in the movie. But now trailers are just showing all of the big stuff that they have, thus ruining the movie-going experience for the viewers. Now, I think I went on this tirade for a little too long, so I'm gonna actually end it there. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below if your thoughts on the movie. Besides that, I'll leave you guys to it.